Hi friend, this is Kuldeep and this video is a continuation of previous part 1 save point video. In this video, I'll show you how locking locking behavior with respect to save point. For the demonstration purpose, I'm going to use three different transactions. Let's say transaction A, transaction B, and transaction C. For the going to use this transaction na, I have created three different window. This toad window one is transaction B, this toad window is transaction C, and one SQL plus, consider this as transaction A. So total three transaction I'm going to use to show the locking behavior with respect to save point, how locks work in Oracle. So currently I'm using this test table, and this table is has two records. Record number one, record number two, with value R1 and R2. Now I'm going to update this record. So I am going to use this anonymous block and will update this record. If you notice now, I have already created save point 1 S1 and save point S2. This first update is associated with S1 and second update is associated with S2. What I'm doing now, I'm updating R1 with the transaction AR1 and R2 with transaction AR2. Now this transaction is completed. Let me check the table. See, it's updated TAR1, TAR2. Now what I will going to do, I'm going to transaction B. Now in the middle of the transaction, a transaction A is still active, not yet completed, because we have not yet issue any commit or rollback. So transaction A is still active. Now I'm going to now transaction B, what it will going to do now, it will going to update this row which is updated by transaction A. So what it will update now, it's going to update transaction B R2, row number 2. So it updated. So when the update is issued now, transaction B found that row 2 is currently logged, and it's logged by transaction A. So he thought it should wait for transaction A to be complete, so it will go under waiting state. Now I'm going to back come again in this transaction. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm just roll back this transaction, not fully but till point 2, means I'm going to roll back this second transaction. If I roll back to this S2 now, what it will do now, it will release the lock on this row. Let me roll back. Yeah, roll back complete. Let me check the data. Select star from test table. See, this row is now get rolled back. But when I go to this transaction B na, row number 2 is now in no lock mode. Lock is released, but still it's waiting. It's waiting for what? It's waiting for transaction A to be complete. Now I'm going to transaction C. Now what it will do now, it will, I'm going to update the same row. Now row completed. Now why it completed? Because when I this update statement in issue na transaction C, this is the transaction C, he found that he can update row number 2. Why he can update? Because currently when this update is happening na, no other transaction logged this row, so he is able to update. But our poor transaction B is still waiting for transaction A. So you can say that na, ki in Oracle na, uh, waiting is not depend on row, waiting is depend on transaction. Hence transaction B is waiting for transaction A. Once you release the, let's suppose, let me roll back this transaction A. So you will notice now, why it's not okay. First let me commit these changes. Okay, this is updated. See, the latest changes is CTR2. Thank you guys.